All right, welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into something pretty mind-blowing. We are going to uncover the exact mathematical thresholds that permanently alter how your brain experiences financial reality. We're literally mapping out the precise numbers where your relationship with money stops being this constant source of panic and transforms into the ultimate tool for freedom. So, let's jump right into it.
Okay, picture this. Imagine two coworkers. They have the exact same job, sit in the exact same office, and pull in the exact same salary, $90,000 a year. Now imagine they both get hit with a sudden, unexpected car repair in the exact same week. On paper, their lives are identical, right? Yet their reactions to this exact same problem are completely opposite. Why is that?
Look at our two guys, Jace and Logan. Jace just calmly swipes his card for a $1,400 repair and goes right back to his day. He literally doesn't even blink. Logan, on the other hand, total panic. He reads the estimate 3 times, feels that awful pit in his stomach, frantically opens his banking app, and immediately starts trying to figure out which bills he's going to have to push to next month. The difference between Jace's total calm and Logan's absolute meltdown isn't luck. Actually, scratch that. It's not even about daily budgeting discipline. It's a hidden number called net worth. And this perfectly captures the biggest misunderstanding we have about money. Society trains us to obsess over income, the speed of the water flowing from the tap. But income just flows right through your hands. True financial peace is exclusively determined by net worth, which is the permanent water actually retained inside your bucket. And as you'll see, there are 3 very distinct invisible lines painted inside that bucket. But before we even reach that first slide, we kind of have to look at where most people are starting. Check out this wild stat from the Federal Reserve. It reveals a stark reality. A massive slice of the U.S. population cannot handle even a minor financial shock. Over a third of adults cannot comfortably cover a surprise $400 expense using cash. They'd have to borrow it, sell something, or put it on a credit card they know they can't pay off. Let's just put that into perspective. $400. That is literally all it takes to push millions of hardworking adults from baseline stability into total sleep-depriving chaos. That's just a flat tire. That's a random trip to urgent care. It's just the stuff life throws at you on a random Tuesday. And there's a huge hidden cost to living on that edge. It's known as the cognitive tax of scarcity. There's this famous Princeton study where they asked mall shoppers to imagine a $1,500 car repair. For higher net worth folks, their problem-solving skills stayed perfectly intact. But for lower-income shoppers, just thinking about that bill triggered such deep background anxiety that it resulted in a 13-point drop in their IQ. That's a full standard deviation. Neurologically speaking, living in financial scarcity literally drains your cognitive bandwidth. It keeps you permanently exhausted, exactly like losing an entire night of sleep. Which brings us to level 1, escape velocity, the first $100,000. Now, this first threshold is honestly the most agonizing part of the journey. The legendary billionaire investor Charlie Munger notoriously said, "The first 100 grand is a bitch, but you gotta do it." I mean, why would a billionaire even care about a number that's basically a rounding error to him? Because he knew the math. It is the only stretch of your entire financial journey where you have to do literally all the heavy lifting yourself. Watch how this math builds. It's fascinating. If you invest 10 grand a year at a 7% return, it takes about 8 grueling years to push that snowball uphill and hit your first 100 grand. But watch what happens next. The second 100,000 only takes 5 years. The third 100,000 under 4 years. Once you crest that first big hill, compounding interest finally kicks in and just massively accelerates your timeline. So the huge takeaway here is that level 1 is not about getting a luxury car or a yacht. It definitely doesn't make you rich in that flashy Instagram way. But what it does is way more valuable. It removes roughly 60% of your daily felt financial stress. Crossing this line totally silences that low-grade panic at the grocery store checkout. It pays back that cognitive tax on your IQ, and it finally buys you a quiet, functional mind. And get this, the world around you actually starts treating you differently. The second you hold a 6-figure net worth, the financial system stops treating you like a customer to be penalized and starts courting you as a client. Suddenly, banks start waiving those annoying maintenance fees. Credit cards with insane premium perks start chasing you. You walk into a dealership and your auto loan rates magically drop. You even unlock access to actual human financial advisors. The system literally starts to respect you. But before you start celebrating and marching toward the next level, you have to defeat the ultimate silent assassin, the hedonic treadmill. You probably know it as lifestyle creep. This is our very natural human tendency to just let our spending rapidly drift right up to match any new raise or bonus.
You upgrade the car, you get a nicer apartment, and bam, before you know it, you're making twice as much but feeling exactly as broke as the day you started. But if you can survive lifestyle creep and keep filling your bucket, you enter a totally new psychological phase. So that brings us to level 2, buying options. This is the $500,000 to $1 million mark. At this stage, your most productive employee isn't even human anymore. It's your portfolio. At $1 million invested, a standard 7% return is quietly throwing off $70,000 a year, and you aren't lifting a single finger. Just let that sink in for a second. At this stage, your money officially out-earns the typical full-time American salary, and it's doing it while you sleep. It never calls in sick, it never complains about the commute, it certainly never hates Mondays. It just works tirelessly in the background while you are off on vacation. And having this buys you an absolute superpower, options. You suddenly have the internal leverage to sit in a meeting, listen to a toxic boss, and know deep down you can calmly just walk away. When a dishwasher breaks, it's a 4-minute online inconvenience, not a 5-alarm crisis. Time actually becomes your greatest asset. You start happily paying for convenience instead of waiting in line to save a few bucks. Level 2 completely subtracts the fear of being trapped. Next up, level 3, buying time, ranging from $2.5 million to $5 million. We are now in the absolute elite tier of wealth, talking top 4% of US households here. This level eliminates the ultimate fear. Like John Goodman's brilliant character in the movie The Gambler explained, the goal isn't just to be quote-unquote rich. The goal is to hit a specific mathematical position where no boss, no bank, and no person can ever force your hand again. You've reached FU money. And the craziest part? Hollywood did not make this concept up. This is actually backed by decades of rigorous financial science. Finding your exact freedom number relies on this beautifully simple piece of math called the Rule of 25, which comes straight from the famous 4% rule. It's 3 simple steps. 1. Calculate your total yearly lifestyle expenses. 2. Multiply that exact number by 25. 3. Boom, that is your target net worth to safely fund your life forever. So let's look at how that math actually plays out in the real world. If your current lifestyle costs you 40 grand a year, you need $1 million. If it costs 80 grand, you need 2 million. If you want to live a highly comfortable, 6-figure, $100,000 lifestyle indefinitely without ever clocking in for work again, you need precisely $2.5 million retained in your bucket. The power you get at level 3 is just reality bending. The very rules of investing legally change for you. You hit qualified purchaser status with the SEC, unlocking private equity and pre-IPO deals that everyday citizens can't even touch. Daily financial friction, it simply ceases to exist. But honestly, the ultimate prize of this level? You are buying back your one genuinely non-renewable resource, the actual hours of your life. You get absolute, total autonomy over how you spend a random Tuesday afternoon. But listen, there is a massive warning label attached to this level. A fascinating study by Matthew Killingsworth highlights a pretty brutal truth. If you reach this elite tier of wealth and you still remain fundamentally miserable, well, your suffering was never caused by a lack of money in the first place. See, money systematically removes specific financial fears, absolutely, but it cannot cure an internal problem it didn't cause. So what you should really take away from all of this is a total reframe of why we even pursue wealth. Building wealth is not about adding luxury cars, huge mansions, or $20,000 watches to your life. It is entirely about systematically subtracting fear. From escaping that initial drowning line, to buying your options, to ultimately reclaiming your time, true wealth is just the progressive elimination of panic from your nervous system. So I want you to look at your own bucket today, identify exactly where your water level sits right now, and ask yourself this profound question before taking your very next financial step. Which specific fear are you killing next? Start right there, eliminate it, and let compounding do the rest. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this explainer. Keep climbing, and I'll catch you in the next one.